Welcome back to the Business Workshop Podcast, where we bring all types of businesses and entrepreneurs into the shop to share their stories so we can all grow our individual business and help each other grow together. But first, I'm your host, Josh Handler, co-founder of the Handler Zimmerman team at Keller Williams Realty Elite. If you have a home you're looking to sell, reach out to us with any questions, concerns, or you're just curious what your home may be worth today. If you're looking to buy, our team is here for all your needs. Please give us a call, 516-732-6398. Now, in the workshop today, we have Olimpia Fernandez, who is our TL, for people that don't know, team leader at Keller Williams. We're going to talk about everything a TL does, where they see the market going, what they are doing to stay on top of everybody that is becoming a brokerage these days, and things that help you, propel you to the top of the list when people are looking to get their license or make a jump. But again, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
So let's get right into it. So first, give everybody a little background. Give us your elevator pitch of who you are, what you do before and now.
Okay. So what I do is I am the team leader for Keller Williams Elite. We have two offices in Massapequa and in East Islip. So I am the team leader here at this location. This is the headquarters for me. I have 25 years. I probably shouldn't have said that because I'm giving out my age. But 25 years.
So she started working when she was 5?
When I was 5, exactly. Started working when I was 5. 25 years plus experience in corporate America. So I also have a background in the entertainment business, lived in California as well. And I have been a licensed agent for 4 years. I've only been at Keller Williams Elite. That's where I started my career as an agent. And then I was doing that solo. And then I joined Greg Masitas' team, who is our OP, which is short for operating principal. He owns Keller Williams Elite. Each Keller Williams building is privately owned and operated. And Gregory Masitas is our OP, our operating principal. So I was on his team. So he was getting familiar with me from a business perspective, my corporate background, my personality, who I am as an individual, and then also from a real estate standpoint. Right. I also got a lot of training from him as well from a real estate standpoint. And I also had a really good relationship with our past TL, Allison Gambone, who brought me on 4 years ago as a agent. And it came full circle. And Allison decided that she was going to go to another brokerage firm. So the opportunity opened itself up, and Greg came to me and said, "Hey, I think you'd be awesome for this position." And I was like, "Wait, what?" Wasn't even expecting it. So it came to me. I did have to go through everything. Nothing was handed to me. I had to go through all the interviews. I had to meet with regional directors. So nothing was handed to me. They really put me through the ringer. But now here I am.
Here you are, standing strong.
Everything is coming full circle. So now I know what everything that I was doing all these years all came full circle, because my love of real estate and then my experience in corporate, my business background. I'm also an entrepreneur. I've owned a preschool. I've also owned an event coordinating business out in California. Again, I have the entertainment background. So I feel like it just kind of all came full circle for me. And now I'm in that perfect position for myself, and it allows me to fully just put all my gifts out there.
Yeah, no, it's cool to hear how it goes around.
Yeah.
Going from an agent to being like, okay, now instead of selling, you're now helping other agents get to the point where they're bringing in enough volume to support their lifestyle, their families, etc. You succeed when everybody else succeeds.
Absolutely.
So now it's you're not betting on yourself. Now you're betting on 200 agents.
Exactly.
And and growing.
Yep.
So it's a totally different lifestyle, but your train of thought's the same, but now it's just on a bigger scale.
That's right. Because for me, I genuinely love people. I really honestly do. I want to see people succeed. My friends all call me Mama Bear. I just genuinely just want to help everybody and help everybody grow.
Right.
And that was the one thing that I loved about being a buyer agent too, because it was so exciting to see people get their first home or get their second home or, expand their life.
You're part of a life-changing experience.
Absolutely. So for me now, I look at it as, maybe I was touching 20 people's lives before, right, as a buyer agent. Now I'm touching 200 people's lives because I'm touching them through the agents.
Right.
So I'm changing lives through the agents. So I feel like I'm doing better works this way, right? Because
do you miss it?
No.
Really?
No, it's crazy because I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
I did. I was like, oh, wait, I can't sell? What do you mean I can't sell? Because I cannot sell. It's conflict of interest. We don't want agents to think a call comes through and I take it, right? And I take it from you guys. So I had to make that decision. Greg made that very clear from the beginning. You can't sell. And I was like, wait, I have to keep my license. So of course, right, to continue to make sure I'm getting that knowledge and being able to not only steer you guys in the right direction from a Keller way, but also from a real estate standpoint. So I have to stay licensed, but I cannot sell. And I thought I was going to miss it, but I don't, because as much as I love people, I don't miss on a Saturday leaving my house at 8 a.m. and not coming back till 7
definitely,
because
definitely a difference.
Right. My nurse, who was, my buyer, can only go on Saturday. So we saw 20 houses that day, right? Or being at an open house and I can't do something on a Sunday because I have to go to this open house and stand there for 2 hours, right? So I don't miss it. I thought I would, but I don't. I'm sorry.
Your hands are full with so many other things and you're like, all right, I can let this go.
I can let this go, yeah.
So speaking of some of the things that like a TL does, what, I honestly don't even know a lot of those things. So like, what are the top, 5, 10 things, whatever it may be, that, a TL is really responsible for like each individual, brokerage?
Yep. So for Keller Williams, the number one job of a TL at Keller Williams is to recruit and grow the office, right? That is the number one job that I have to do. For me, I tie that into the retention side of it because I want to make sure my agents are happy. And I want to make
if
sure
you can't keep them, you're only bringing them in for a year or so. Like you're not going to grow because you're going to have to replace the person that you're
exactly. You're never going to get past. If you have 200 agents, you're never going to get to 250 or 300 because they're going out the back door, right? So for me, retention is just as important as recruiting. Growing the brokerage is just as important because to your point, you can bring them in. But if they're not happy, and if I bring you in and I promised you this value and I promised you this support and I promised you education and I promised you all of these wonderful things, but now that you're here, they're not there. You're no longer getting
Which
that.
I feel is a lot of brokerages. They give you a lot of these smoke and mirror games. You maybe get it for a month and then it's like done. It's like it never existed. You're like, it's like they put the sugar on top to bring you in, and then all of a sudden
they drop you.
They drop you onto the next person that they're trying to bring in.
Yeah, right. And it's because it's a number game for them. It's transactional, and it's not transactional for me. It's about the relationships. And because I think what is great for me that I bring to the table is that I was an agent. And I was a brand new agent at one point. And I knew what it was like to get my license and not know a thing and come in here and I'm like, oh my God, who's going to support me? Who's going to help me? Who can I call? So I constantly, it's very scary. So I lean on that a lot, whether it's a brand new agent who hasn't done one deal or it's an agent that is a top agent that's done 20, 40 deals a year, right? I make sure they're getting what they need. That's important for me. And I think the advantage that I do have coming into this position is that I was an agent at one point and I know all the things that I needed to grow my business and what I needed to from like a personal standpoint as far as I needed confidence. I needed to learn the language. I needed to go to the training. I needed to know that I could pick up the phone and I can call somebody. And I make it very clear. I've had other TLs say, be careful with that. You don't want to burn out because I make it very clear that I tell my agents, you can call me anytime, whatever you need. Call me, text me. They're like, be careful with that. But that's who I am. I don't want to be careful with that because that's who I am. If I'm not going to take care of it, trust and believe, I'm going to put you in a direction where you can find it because that's important to me. That's important. So it's important from a Keller Williams perspective as our number one job to come back to what your question is to make sure that I'm bringing new agents in. But it's equally as important to keep them happy.
Yeah, but it's good though because you went through it, like you said, like you were a realtor, so you have the eye of a TL, but you also have the eye of what a realtor would be looking at from the outside.
Right.
So when you put them together, that's a huge advantage from just taking the position per se without having that knowledge of what it's like being a realtor. What are they looking at? What would make them want to join a brokerage?
Right.
Why would they want to leave where they're comfortable? To come join somewhere else where they have that unknown.
Exactly. And a lot of brokerages, because it is a number game for them, they bring them on, they do promise them everything, and then we're done, we hit our quota for the month, right? And they're just another number. And I tell my agents that all the time when they sign on. They bring you on, and we're not the brokerage firm that's going to be like, oh, sink or swim. Most of these brokerage firms bring you on. Now they've hit their quota, and it's like, all right, go out there and figure it out.
Right. They just hope eventually you do a deal, and that's why we're a failing industry.
Yes.
That was one of the reasons why we ended up moving to Keller Williams was because of the training aspect, which we'll get into.
Right.
But a lot of new agents, they go to these brokerages because they're like, oh, I got a good split or whatever the case may be. They get hired, and then it's like, okay, where do I start? And the training stinks.
Yep.
They have terrible training. There's no guidance. It's like, okay, I got my license. I signed up with my brokerage. I have to pay my yearly fees with them. And then it's like, what do I do now? And that's why so many new agents end up failing in their first year.
Yep.
Or they get, sidetracked because they get so, discouraged that how hard it is, especially in a market like this where it's so hard. So many people are going to fizzle out more than the average, I want to say.
Yep.
And a lot of it, I think, comes down to, I put a lot of it on the brokerage. For new agents to get support and be able to be in a situation if they're a solo agent. Listen, if they're on a team, then you're on a team. Like that becomes someone else's not problem, but
Right, but
your
that's what they're on a
responsibility
team
is they're
for.
on a team for to get that.
Yep.
So more for like the solo agent that doesn't want to be on a team, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they need to have still the same guidance from the brokerage. Like they're still paying the brokerage. They're still paying percentages to the brokerage on their deals. So they still need that guidance along the way to become a successful
That's what they're looking
realtor.
for. That's what they're looking for. So you can't promise that if you're not going to deliver.
100%.
That's exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah.
It's like I have this thing that I say, and I say a lot of my recruits, say, oh, well, I can go someplace else and I can, get 100% of my commission. But if you're not getting that support, and you're not getting that value, and you're not getting that, you're not having all the technology in today's world, right? You're not getting the training. 100% of zero is still zero.
Yeah. And I tell that to a lot of people. Like, people always ask me, oh, if we join your team, what would we get commission? Yeah. And like, listen, this is, and I say, okay, I would give you something like this. And like, oh, I can get more somewhere. I'm like, that's great.
Right.
I'm like, if you're there's multiple different angles to look at, and we try to tell this, especially to new realtors. You can go and get 100% somewhere and pay, per transaction. You can go get a 90-10. You can get an 8. There's splits everywhere. Are you looking at, if you're only looking at percentage, that's fine. If that's all you care about, that's fine. There's nothing rhyme or wrong. If that's what you need, that's what you need. But if you're looking for an entire package, are you looking for training?
Right.
Are you looking for leads? Are you looking for, what are you looking for?
What are you looking for?
All these things come with, a price.
Right.
So you can't expect to get the whole basket. But then you don't want to pay any of the basket. You don't pay anything, Because all these things cost money to do it the right way.
Yep.
And nothing's free. That's it's straightforward.
And then the question also becomes, sorry to cut you off. Then the question also becomes, do you want short term, or do you want long term?
Right.
Right. And I believe here at Keller Williams, it's long term because we're helping agents build a business, and we're adding all that value and all the steps to have you build that business. Instead of the short term is, I'm going to go to this brokerage, I'm going to get 100% of my commission. Short term.
Right.
Because if you're going out into the field and you're trying to get listings, or you're trying to get a buyer to, and nowadays real estate agents are growing on trees, right? What are you as an agent? It's insane. It's insane. So what are you bringing to the table? And do you have a brokerage firm that's preparing you? Are they training you correctly? Is your technology up to par? Do you have a team leader, manager that you can go to at any given time and ask a question? Do you have a productivity coach that you can go to? Do you have an operating principal that you can go to? If you don't have any of those things, and you're like, but I'm getting 100% commission, and then you go and you sit at the, the family's kitchen table to try to get that listing, you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
So they're not going to use you.
Yeah. Listen, if you want to be, if you're an experienced agent, you're not looking for anything, you don't want training, you're not looking to grow anything, you're just doing your own business, and you want to go somewhere like that, there's always a spot that fits for everybody, right?
Right.
So it's if you're looking to grow with multiple things going on, then there's A. Right. If you want just by yourself and you don't need admin help, or you don't want anything, there's B.
Right.
It's what works
what works for you. Yep.
I don't think there's a right or wrong.
Yep.
But most of the people, when you're new at least, or you're doing 5 deals and you're trying to get to 10, 15, 20, you still need some assistance most of the time.
Exactly. But you know what too, Josh? Even experienced agents need that too.
100%.
Because there are agents that are out there that are doing tons of deals, but they don't have the profit to show it. What's their profit margin look like? Yeah. Right? So that's where I come in from a team leader perspective, and I'm able to sit down with a seasoned agent and say, okay, let's look at your profit margin. What does that look like?
Right.
Where are your expenses going? What percentage is going to your expenses? What is your cost of sale? What's your GCI? Let's break it down so you have money to show.
Right.
Because you don't know how many agents out there that are selling so many homes, but they don't have anything to show because their economic model is out of play.
And that's the problem with a lot of realtors going out there getting listings, and they're scared to say, listen, no, I charge 5%, I charge 6%, whatever it may be. They're all out there, I can do it for 3%, because they're so worried about just getting the deal that they don't realize that, okay, yes, if I take a 3% listing and I'm only keeping 1.5%, I got to pay Uncle Sam.
Yep.
I got to pay my overhead. If you're running a team and you're paying for leads, you got all these things that you got to pay for. Then they're like, okay, at the end of the day, what is your time worth?
Right.
Do you want to do all this work for $20 an hour?
Right. Right.
Or are you worth $200 an hour, or $500, whatever the number may be?
Right.
People just want to secure a deal, and then they realize they're just going to do numbers. They think, just get more listings, and Okay.
Right.
Do you want to run around like a chicken?
Right.
Or do you want to just take less deals, do them the right way?
Exactly.
And you'll make the same money or more.
Yep.
So there's like so many different angles that people just don't realize the whole
thing.
picture.
And you have to remember you're running a business. That's the key word, business. So they have to understand the business side of it. And that's, again, the value that Keller Williams adds. The value that a team leader at Keller Williams adds. Because we have trainings that we have to go through as well. Just like we have trainings for agents, we have trainings for leadership as well. Team leaders, operating principles. We have conference calls. We have team leader calls. We have Zoom calls. We have conferences we go to because we're getting a lot of calls. I have two today later on because we have to make sure that Gary Keller wants to make sure that he is giving us the equipment to be able to come back and give you guys what you need, right? So the training comes all the way from the top. So we have to make sure that we have what we need in order for you guys to succeed. So if you guys are succeeding, we're succeeding.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So after the recruitment side, what's after the recruitment side? Like, is the main focus for a TL?
Yep. So for a TL is, again, like I said, the retention, but also running the brokerage firm as a whole, making sure the training is in place. What kind of training do we have for the agents? What does that look like? Are we incorporating? For me, I make sure that I incorporate the agents and I want to hear their voice. What are you missing? What do we need out there? What's happening in the industry that we're not touching upon? We could circle back to a couple of months ago when we did the social media panel. That was needed. We've never done that before, right? That was something that was needed. So I made sure it was on the training calendar. So making sure training is in place for the agents, making sure that the events are in place for the agents, and even small things. I work around here, make sure the brokerage looks nice, right? The training room is clean, and we have videos on the television, so when people come in, they could sit there while they're waiting. They can take a look and check out a Gary Keller, So it's completely running the firm as a whole. I mean, there's the backside, there's the financial side that I work with, Laura, who's our MCA.
That's one thing that I did like when I came to Keller, because, at the other brokerage, it was kind of like one-stop shop. Like, everything kind of fell on, like, one, the office admin. Like, everything was responsible. She was awesome. She was great, but, like, you had so much on your plate. Like, how can you really do your job to the best of your ability when you're being pulled in 6 different ways? And having Keller, have everything kind of like an octopus, where it's like everything, okay, this is your arm, this is your lane, stay in it, this is what you do. Like this, like it made it so much more sense that you can now focus on your physical job and do it to the best, possible.
Right, because Keller Williams is big on leverage. So we definitely make sure that everyone knows about leverage, and including myself, right? Including TLs, including Greg. We have to, though I'm overseeing everything that's happening, I have a team of agents and a team of office staff that's helping me push it through. So yes, I'm overseeing it. Yes, I'm putting it into place. Yes, I have to manage that email or what's going on, and I'm overseeing it. But I have everyone in place that's doing their due diligence to make it all come together.
That's true. Leverage, I mean, for anybody that doesn't use it to their advantage, it could be as simple as, hiring your own admin to help you with paperwork. It could be hiring a virtual assistant to, help you with social media postings. There's so many things that you could use these people for leverage. You want a transaction coordinator. Like, there's so many companies now that offer like this assistance, where people sometimes think, oh, but why do I need to spend that money? Like, these people are $5-6 an hour. That,
that's making your life better.
You're talking maybe $150, $200 a week for a full-time, employee.
Yeah.
What can you do if you didn't spend those 15, 20 hours maybe a week, running posts on social media? Or would you be on the phone, when we're allowed to? Would you be on the phone cold calling and trying to pick up another deal? Would you be out there, door knocking and trying to get, would you be at a network event trying to meet people instead of being home trying to fill out all these, pushing paper, filling out a sales binder, sending things to an attorney. Like, you could use leverage, and that was like a big eye opener for us. It was like, the leverage side is huge. The virtual assistant thing, having people in-house that, your own team administrator maybe. All these things help you as a business. And yes, it may cost money up front, but you want to do it before you're sinking.
That's right. That's
right. And a lot of people wait till it's too long, too late.
Exactly. And not only, and you mentioned all of these things from a business perspective, which is important. You can be out there getting another listing, but another thing that's important for us at Keller Williams is you can also get time back with your family.
And that is huge.
And that's key.
This year was why it really hit for me, is because when Tegan was born, 10 months now, like, all I wanted to do I didn't work for the first 6 months.
Of course,
I just didn't care. I was like, I gave everything to the team. I said, listen, you guys handle it, we'll split it up. Like, it's all you guys. I didn't work I haven't worked a single buyer. She's 10 months now. I haven't worked a single buyer in 10 months. Because, regardless of the market, obviously it's tougher now, but I was always working buyers. I love working with buyers, and I still do. But the time that it takes away from her, I didn't want to do it. So I was giving away everything. So the family, like everybody says, family first. And if you have to bust your ass and
Right.
do all this, and like you can't enjoy the money and the time
That's
with
right.
your family, what are we
What is
doing
it
it all
for?
for? You know, so a lot of people get caught up in wanting to work. I used
Yeah.
to be a workaholic.
Yep.
I still am.
Yep.
But like to the point where like my phone would never shut off. You know, my wife would always be like, "Are you going to turn it off so we can like relax together?"
Right.
It's like
Watch a movie.
11 o'clock
Yeah.
at night. Can you like stop working? And I would. You text me at 11:30. I was answering you.
Right.
You know,
Right.
now it's like, okay, if I answer you at 11:30 at night, is anything going to change between now and first thing at 9 a.m.?
Nothing.
Nothing's changing.
That's
so it's
right.
like, you know what? You're right. Like, let's have some us time.
Right.
Put my phone down. I'll get to them in the morning.
Right.
And business is still going to be just as good.
Right.
But in the beginning, I was so worried that I'm going to lose a client or this or that if I'm not there.
Right.
I was always wanting to be there.
Right.
So it's like you said, like you just learn how to delegate.
Yep.
And when, how to put where, what.
Yep. And trust.
And it
trust who you
does
put
work.
in place.
Yes.
And trust who you put in place. If you hire
Huge.
good talent,
Yes.
then you don't have to micromanage.
Yes.
You know, and that's something else that, you know, Gary Keller says, hire the right talent. And then you don't have to worry about micromanaging them.
100%.
And then you can go and be with your family, because I'm a workaholic too. And I do this. I'm guilty of the same stuff. You
But
know,
that's the
answering
important
those
part
calls.
of what you just said. It's hire the right people. You know, so many people, they just want the cheapest person.
Yep.
And just like the realtor, the cheapest is not always the best.
That's
You know,
right.
you get what you pay for, like with anything in life.
Yep.
You want a cheap car, you know, there's going to come with some problems.
Right.
You know, you want to hire a cheaper realtor? Okay. If they're willing to give up their commission just that fast to
Right.
get the job, are they going to negotiate for you the best, or are they going
Right.
to give you the best chance of getting the most money, or are they going
Right.
to give away your money at the same time?
Exactly,
You know,
exactly.
everybody, you know, maybe they negotiate better than the next realtor.
Right.
Maybe their marketing gets another 10,000 eyeballs on your property, which makes you
Exactly.
more money. There's so many different things. Like everything comes with a price.
Right. And if you do not hire the right talent, right?
Usually
you're
costs you
gonna
double,
get
right?
double. I'm taking the words right out of my mouth, Josh. You're going to have double the work, because now
Yeah.
you got to go behind them and you have to clean up the crap.
Right.
You know, so that's key too to remember.
And especially when you're hiring somebody,
Yep.
you know, you're gonna hire them. Then you got to train them. Then you got to get them rolling. So,
Yep.
you know, who knows how many hours of work that you're gonna put in to get them situated to be able to do the job how you want it done.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, like they can't do it because they're not really qualified to do so.
Yep.
Now you got to fire them. Now you got to hire somebody again. Now you
Yep.
got to retrain them again.
Yep.
So like all these things
All because
cost
you
money on
saved
top of
$3
it.
an hour or
Right.
something.
You
right.
know, that's
right.
what, like, because we did the virtual assistant thing, and we
Okay.
honestly we didn't like it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like there's no way to teach New York, Long Island real estate to somebody that is in the Philippines, for example.
Mm-hmm. right.
Like
Agreed.
they're just never going to get a grasp of it. They don't understand. Like you can't ask them somebody that says, "Oh, I'm in Massapequa. What's a good restaurant or something of that nature?" Like they don't know. They have
Right.
no idea what you're
Right.
talking about.
Right.
Could it be good for paperwork? Yes.
Yes.
Could it be good if you want to use somebody just to post on your social media or something like that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But to like physically be like an admin for like the team where like they're reaching out to an agent for docs, or they're reaching out to an inspector for
Yep.
something, or an
Yep.
attorney, like they have no idea what's going
Right,
on.
right.
And you only could teach them so much. And if you're going to have to keep answering like the questions because they really have no idea,
Right.
You might as well just do
It
it.
doesn't. It just defeats
You're not
the purpose.
saving anything.
Defeats the
So-
purpose. Yep.
But those people are $4 or $5, $6 an hour, right?
And that's why people hire them.
And that's why people hire them. But we went to the aspect of, you know what? Next person we do that, we're gonna hire like a full team administrator.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a full time like position in house. Like they're gonna come in.
Right.
You know, they could work a couple days remote, this and that, whatever. But like
Right.
it's gonna be a physical person that lives here.
Right.
That like if we need something, okay, they can go drive and pick
I was
something
gonna
up.
say, even if it's an errand,
Like,
what if you got to
they
get
could-
some contracts like immediately?
Right. They can run an errand for you. You know, during the holidays, we like to stop by all our past clients, give them something for the holidays
Right.
and stuff
They
like
can
that.
help.
Like
Yep.
they could help package some stuff up, this and
Right.
that. So like you can use them more than just like, okay, you're gonna push this paper here,
Right.
you're gonna go this way,
Or just answer the phone.
or just answer the phone. Like
Right.
you're only there's only so many phone calls in a day.
Right.
Once you're done with your paperwork, there's only so many paperwork
Right.
you're gonna push. Right.
Right.
Now, like, how are you gonna help make the team, grow? Can you maybe help the team with paperwork so they don't have to do it, so they could use their
Right.
time
Right.
more
A
wisely, or
transaction
spend it with their
coordinator
family?
for the whole team.
You know.
Yep.
So we realized that leverage is just
Yeah.
super
Key.
important. Done right.
Yep. Exactly.
You know?
Yep. Done right. That's the key word. Done right.
All right. So TL, you're gonna find the realtor. You're gonna retain the realtor.
Yep.
You're going to make sure the office is just performing at at the level you expect it to be.
Yep.
What else?
What else? What else?
What else is your fourth main thing that is your focus? I mean, those three things really hit a lot. But if you had to pick one more, is there?
Yeah. Culture. Culture is super important.
Which I really agree on, because our last office, the culture, there was none.
Okay.
And the culture, it's just the way people feel.
Yeah.
And the way people are like, I don't know the right word. It's probably the culture is the word.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're at an office and there's nobody showing up to the office, it's just, listen, not everybody likes to go to the office.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Some people
like to work from home.
and that's fine.
Yep.
But the people that like to go to the office a couple times a week,
right.
when you have other people that are in the office,
yep.
it makes it so much more enjoyable than when you're there every day by yourself.
Right.
It's the camaraderie.
Yep.
It's the people that you're, bounce ideas off of if you need help with something.
Yep.
Oh, what would you have done here? I was just talking to Jake outside, and he was like, hey, do you mind helping me? I'll train. He cold calls every single day.
Yeah, he does.
And
but don't tell me
great.
that.
He
I'm
doesn't.
Not supposed to hear.
He cold calls his family.
La, 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 la.
He only talks to his family. He cold calls his family for practice.
Yeah, exactly.
But he cold calls, and he does a great job.
Yeah.
And he's really good at it, in my
Yep.
opinion. From what I've always listened to him when the door's open and I hear him,
Yeah.
he's great. So like today he came in, he's always, I would love to train your agents on your team how to cold call. In return, you give me and help me with your listing pitch.
Okay.
So I said,
love that.
I said, listen,
I
I'll
love
help
that.
you regardless.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, but
help
that,
you
if
regardless,
you're not
yep.
coming in, if you're not in the office, you're not speaking to other agents.
Right.
You're not getting friendly with other agents.
Right.
Nobody knows who you are, and
Right.
nobody, that's
Right.
never going to happen.
Right.
So that goes right with the, the camaraderie and
Yep.
just the culture of the whole office.
Yep.
Was a good thing. I'm going to let you talk about it, but it was our office prior had no culture.
Yeah.
There was nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody came to the office. It wasn't inviting. Like you didn't want to come there and work.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So there was like, why?
Right.
One thing I liked about coming here was there was always people here that you could bounce ideas off of.
Yep.
On top of that, there was also just the environment was so much, better.
Yeah.
There was so
The
many
energy.
positives. The energy was just, it's just, it's all there.
Yep.
So like, you want to be able to sit there and work all day. Like when you show up to an office and you're like, it doesn't feel like
Right.
you want to be here.
Yeah.
You're not
The
staying.
energy and the vibe in the air I'm telling you, it's a true thing. Like, the mood is a true thing. And
It
again,
is.
like I said, all the years I've been in corporate, there's been companies I loved working for and others where I was like, shoot me in the eye right now before I walk through these doors. You know what I mean? Because it was like everyone was stuffy and no one was nice and no one helped you. And so that's super important, right? The team camaraderie is super important. Yeah. You're on these phones all day long. You're pushing these papers. You're trying to make deals work. If you just go out to the bathroom or go downstairs for a cup of coffee, you want another agent that you can laugh with, you can talk with, you can bounce, but you took going for a walk out of your office because you're frustrated, right? You go down for a cup of coffee, maybe you're going to bounce it off of another agent. Like, oh my God, this is what just happened with this agent over at, I don't know, Remax or something. And then now you guys are talking together. And I really push about sharing here. No one is like, in school with your paper cover, don't look at my answers.
100%.
Everybody's helping one another here. And I love that.
And that's one of the things I did like when we came here, because we're not even a year in,
right.
So we still see a lot of differences. And, we were at Exit, they're individual franchises also.
Yeah.
We were at 2 different exits prior to coming here.
Yep.
And I've never got a single lead from the brokerage. Never got from the brokerage, from a realtor, another agent that maybe in another state.
Right.
Nothing. Even in the same office. Oh, anything. We never had anything.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not here looking for handouts or anything of that nature,
right.
but it's nice to.
But it's nice.
It's nice to see even if they go to the agents that are newer to get them enrolled, something. I don't know. Get one every here and there.
Right.
A referral from somewhere.
Right.
We were here for I don't know how long we've been here. 8 months.
Yep.
Something like that. Mm-hmm. I would say about 5 months in, I got a referral. I got 2 referrals from out of state.
Yep.
Because they looked up Keller Williams, they found me on Google, whatever,
right.
And they reached out. So I got 2 random referrals for being a Keller Williams agent, basically.
Right.
Then they like all the social media stuff, etc. But that's a whole nother story.
Right.
They're like, oh, I think you'd be great. You're a Keller Williams agent, blah blah blah. And so I got 2 referrals from them, and then literally Will O'Donnell, who was in our office, he was in Florida, I think, because he was going back and forth.
He was going back and forth at one point. Yep.
He got a lead for a listing. And he gave me a call. He goes, "Hey, what do you want to do with me? I got the lead, but you would have to go on the appointment and try to get it, signed up." So I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I did it. We saw, and we split the whole deal together. And I ran he got the lead. He couldn't do it, so I did it. I took over everything. I did the entire deal: the listing, the open houses, the paperwork. I'm doing everything. I told him, "Listen, I'll take. Don't worry about it. Like, sit back. You get to relax on this one, right?"
Right. We on the beach in Miami.
Exactly. But so now that house is under contract. They love us. They're like, "Oh, I'm giving you the next one. Our family wants to move now with us, etc." So I'm like, "Dude, we'll split that too. Like, just because I did the work or whatever. Like, everything's even. But like, just to have like those options in the office,
Right.
it's nice.
It's very nice.
And that never happened once in years.
And I hear that a lot with other brokerage firms. They don't get that at all. I recruited someone 2 months ago, and they came from DE. And she gave me a story, and she said, oh my God, I can't tell you how important that is for me, because she walked over to a copier one time at the DE office, and somebody's paperwork was on the copier that was right before her. And she said she almost like got knocked down so the person can get the paperwork off the copier just so she couldn't see it.
That's crazy.
And it was like, really? Like, what's going on? I just think even as human beings, right? If we have the attitude that what's for me is going to be for me.
Right.
What's for you is going to be for you. I can't take it away from you. You can't take it away from me. Right. So let's just, it's like that energy, right? Putting out in the universe. I can't take what's supposed to be yours, and vice versa. And once you get them, remember that there's no competition. There's none of that going on. And how about if I help you, you're going to help me. What I put out there, I'm going to get back. Just like with anything, right? It's like
That's
paying
the
it
problem.
forward.
Everybody thinks like as a realtor or anything like you're stealing my business, or you can't. If I help you, like that means you could maybe go get the business and I won't be able to get it. Like there's so much business in this industry. There's so many realtors like for a recruiting aspect or something like that. Like if you were helping somebody else, learn how to speak better or whatever the case may be. There's so much in this industry. No one's stealing anybody's thunder.
Right.
No one's stealing anybody's business.
Yep.
So it's like just help.
Just help one another.
Just be a better person. Like
That's
you
right.
can be a good person, and that's it.
That's right. And those are the kind of agents I bring on, like-minded agents, right? Because again, it's not transaction for me. So just because it's an agent that's coming through and that I might have called or my assistant may have called, if I get on the phone with them and I'm not feeling the culture, or I meet them and I'm not feeling the culture, I'm in my mind, I'm like, okay, this might not be the place for you.
Yeah.
So maybe I might not push you. Maybe I might not call you a third or fourth time, because it's important that I keep the culture. All of you guys, right?
You don't want that one bad apple, right?
I was going to say, you bring in that one bad apple and then it could just ruin everything. So again, because it's not transactional for me, it's about the relationships. And it sounds like a cliche, but I want us to be, we say we're one big happy family. I really want us to be one big happy family, right? Yeah. I don't want to be that brokerage firm that gives these agents all these, big pipe dreams, and then you come here and I just let you down. That's just, how about the integrity of that, right? Just forget Keller Williams, forget the integrity of that. It's just not cool.
Yeah.
It's just not cool for me, and that's just not who I am, So yeah, culture is important for me for that.
So speaking about bringing in agents, obviously we want to keep the, like you said, the culture you want to keep right. You want to bring in the right people.
Yep.
Have you seen an uptick since COVID happened and everything? So many more people getting their license, so many more, newer agents getting into the business. Have you seen like an influx of realtors, coming for interviews and like joining, looking to join a brokerage now than there was, years ago when it wasn't, everybody and their mother going to get a license?
Yeah, I do. Well, I think we definitely saw a big tick during the pandemic when everybody was, oh my gosh, working from home and selling out. Right. They were going online. They were taking the classes online. They were getting, it like hotcakes. But those are the ones too that are dropping off.
Yeah.
Right. Because they may not genuinely love it. They don't know what goes into it. It's hard work. Again, I use that word business. It's a business. You can't just go think you're going to sell houses and you're going to be successful and you're going to be like,
Well, a lot of them see like the glitz and the glam and they say,
I can do that.
I get my license, I flip a switch and like my phone starts ringing with, I'm looking to possibly buy or sell.
Right. And it doesn't happen that way. So that's how you, unfortunately, but fortunately, you weed out the agents that are just not for the business, right? Because if they're not for the business, then they're not going to be great for the people out there who are making the largest financial transaction they're ever going to have and make. So it's important that the right person is taking that person, that family on, right? So it kind of weeds out. But I think that it was a real big tick at that point. And it's kind of settling out right now. There's weeks and months where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm crazy. My calendar is like in my head spinning. Yeah. And then the next one's like, oh, it's a little slow right now. It's a little slow this week. I better get on the phones,
Right. Yep.
So it depends. But I'm getting more agents that are a little bit more serious with it. The newer agents that I sign on, they're hitting the ground running. They're not just coming and getting their license and signing on and like, do. I signed somebody on last week and he did all his paperwork, and then I get a text from him 2 days later. Okay, now what? What do I need to do? Like, tell me what I need to do.
Right,
Not like handout. Now what? Like, what's next?
Yeah, what's the next step?
What's next? Tell me what. And then I had this long text, told him what was next. He's like, okay, awesome, thank you. Next morning, he was in the office doing exactly what I told him to do. So I'm finding that we're getting more agents that are a little bit more serious instead of trying to just like, oh, let me hop this wave because everybody's getting rich because there are lines around the corner at an open house. I could do this, right? So I think it's leveling out a little bit.
Yeah, no, I definitely see. I was curious how the real, because I feel like they're just, with the pandemic, there were so many people either lost their job,
Right.
They were working from home. They're like, oh, what can I do for some supplemental income, or what can I do in the meantime while I'm looking for another job? And like everybody was like, oh, the housing market's going crazy. I'll just get my license.
That's exactly what
And all of a
happened.
sudden, like the number of people just shot up. How many realtors there were?
Yep.
But I also feel it's also going to shoot down as fast as they came in.
That's exactly what's happening too. Because last month I lost some agents, but they were all non-producing agents, right? That just don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
Don't want to pay the fees or whatever. And those are the ones that are dropping out.
Yeah, listen, if you have your license and you're paying $600, $700,
and you're not doing
$800,000 with all the
Of
fees to MLS, this and that,
course.
for
It's
what?
a lot, and
Yeah.
you're not right. So those are the ones that are kind of dropping off, and that's why I think it's leveling itself out.
Yeah, I can
Yep.
see that. Now, for me, I feel there's so many brokerages popping up. There's so many different models of, listen, there's 100% commissions, pay a desk fee or whatever.
Right.
There's, 50-50 splits. There's something for everybody.
Right.
What do you see now? Because I feel like in a lot of major, like, Massapequa, Hotspot, there's a lot of brokerages that'll come and flock to that town, right?
Yes.
So, there could be Keller, then there's going to be, there could be Element, there could be Signature, there's going to be Century 21, there's
Right.
Coldwell Banker,
Right.
EXP, the
Yeah.
list goes on
Everything.
and on.
Yeah, they're all there.
Where there's so many different brokerages, there's so many different things that you could be looking at.
Right.
What do you see, or how do you see the future of what is most important to, make your office attractive to experienced agents that may want to jump ship,
Yep.
new agents that are just signing up? Like, what is the main thing that you feel people are going to be looking for
Right.
to, sign up or leave compared to like the next brokerage?
Right. Well, for me, first and foremost, I can't get tripped up on that. Right. I can't get tripped up. I can't get intimidated. I can't get nervous. I can't do any of those things, because if I do, what's going to happen is I'm going to trip up, and I'm not going to be on my A game doing what I need to do for the brokerage firm. So if I'm sitting here worried about, Signature, I could be putting that energy in how I'm going to make my brokerage firm better, right? Instead of sleepless nights thinking of them, sleepless nights thinking about, okay, how I'm going to kick butt over here for my brokerage firm. Well, okay, what are they doing? What am I going to do, right? So that's just how I've always kind of conducted my life. My parents always raised me, you go to a horse race and they have
you
like
have the
those
blinders
horse
on.
blinders. From the time I was like 3, put the horse blinders on, worry about you, keep your eye focused, don't worry about what everybody else is doing on the side of you.
Right.
And all these years later, it still sticks with me.
I feel like that always works.
Yep.
But even though, you're always going to veer off because you want to have an
Of
idea of the
course.
competition, right?
Yep.
But
Yep.
like, you look back and you just give a quick glance to make sure like they're behind you, right?
That's
and then
right.
and then you turn that head straight back again.
Right,
and keep
because you have to
going
know
forward.
what's out there in order to know what you have to do.
Right.
Right. So yes, take a peek what's going on, and then now execute what your plan is going to be.
Yeah, because what do they say? Competition makes you like do better. They make you
Yes.
focus more because you see competition. You don't want to lose.
Right.
Right. So you work that
Step
much
your
harder.
game up a little
You step
bit.
it up just to keep
Step
going.
your game up.
So
Yep,
I
exactly.
feel like when you have brokerages around you, that makes you want to be better, and you don't want to take the foot off the gas per se.
That's right.
Because you let up, they're zooming past
That's
you,
it.
right?
Takes a second. So for me, that's first and foremost, right? And then second is that I just really hone in on what Keller Williams is about. When I took this position, I really believed in the values and what Keller Williams has to offer, right? We were talking about family before. Gary Keller, who is our founder, truly believes family is first and then business. You don't have too many companies, and I come from some very large corporations that are going to constantly tell you family is first. You get frowned upon because you have to stay home because your kid's sick, right? That doesn't happen here. Yeah, we're all, all the agents are independent contractors. You could do what you want to do. Yes, but still and foremost, our founder believes in family first, family and then business. Right. So all of his values around that, I make sure that I believe in it. I have to believe in it to push it because again, integrity. I can't push something I don't believe in. That's first and foremost. So I have to make sure that our values are truly in line. Again, we promise our agents that we're going to add value to your business. We're going to help you grow your business. How are we going to do that? We're going to help you grow your business by the technology we have in place, the training we have in place, the support that we have in place, where you can call your OP, you can call your TL, you can call a rainmaker on a team, get some advice, right? So how are we going to add that? And then what does your profit look like? So I make sure that we are implementing that into agents' lives. A top agent, again, like I said, I'll go back to the fact that they can grow their business, but do they have a manager or TL or whatever that title is in other brokerage firms that can actually sit down with them?
Right.
and do a business plan, do an economic model, do a model that we call a 30-30-40, right? Is your profit margin 40%? Because if it's not, it should be, and let me help you get there. Right. So I make sure that the systems and the models that Keller Williams and Gary Keller puts in place for our brokerage is definitely practiced with our agents because they're proven models that work.
Yeah. I one of the main things I liked that when we came over, one, the training calendar was great because a lot of brokerages they may have a couple things throughout the month of training. Yeah. But there's no concrete thing every month. Okay, boom. We have some type of training, something Monday through Friday, every single day of the week where new agents can benefit, agents that, are doing 5-10 deals that want to get to 20 deals, can benefit from, or even agents that are doing, 30, 40, 50 deals. If there's always something that you can catch up on.
Yep.
So the calendar training thing, that was one of the main things that we came over for because for the newer agents, it's a slam dunk to have that much at your fingertips.
Yes. And we're also known for number one training. Keller Williams is known for number one training, and not just for real estate industry, for all industries. So that is a proud crown that we are happy to be able to wear.
I thought it was great that they had that much training. So that was one of the big things.
Yep.
But then even seeing things on the calendar, this month we're doing, you guys have headshots for everybody. So no brokerages or a lot of them don't care as much for the agent. Listen, they all think, where's the value? I'm giving them all the money, all this money. The brokerages are making all these deals. But where's that money going? They want to see some things come back to them, right?
That's a gift. I'm not having the agents come in and pay.
Get a professional headshot done. EPM, shout out EPM.
Yep, shout out EPM
is coming, and everyone can get their updated headshot. Stuff like that just goes a long way.
Yep.
Where you just some people maybe don't have the time or the money to go spend $100 for a headshot.
Right.
But be able to grab one.
Absolutely, and it's important because you might have an old one, you need a new one, or the new agents, to your point, they're just starting out. They just had to pay the LIBOR dues. They just had to,
sometimes it's a lot at once.
Those are the things that keep me up at night. What can I implement that maybe wasn't done before or hasn't been done in a while? Or what can I do that's going to add the value to the agents? And I was like, and exactly, headshots. I called EPM and I'm like, Ark, help me out here, And that's something that we're doing to the agents. So to your point, it's a small thing, but I hope it matters and I hope it makes a difference with the agents.
I mean, for me, I think it definitely matters because I feel when a new agent or a seasoned agent that is out there looking to possibly move, they look at the main items. They look at social media presence. Yep. They want to know can they help me grow on social media? Because I think that is the number one thing now.
Yep.
Everything is digital. Yep. The whole newspaper ad thing is gone.
Done.
How can I grow my social media presence and start getting my name out there more, building that brand around me?
Yep.
They want to have that culture and they want to see okay, I can fit in here.
Yep.
Our other office, maybe the average age was 50. You want, if you're 30 years old, you don't want to be in an office full of 50, 60-year-olds.
Exactly.
You're not going to mesh with everybody. But if you have a good, diversity, it's great.
Because everybody's learning from each other also.
Yeah, you got the old school way, you get the new school way, and you kind of mesh it together to make the new school way.
Right, exactly. And I remember your social media panel that you did. We had older senior agents in there that have been doing this for 30 years.
And they're super successful.
And they were already. But you know what? They came, they opened up their mind, they knew they can learn something. They were asking questions.
It's good for
I remember
everybody.
I was in the East Islip office, so I wasn't able to be here, but my appointment was late. So I was able to zoom in. And there were certain voices that I was recognizing that I was super happy with, which was veterans, agents. And I was like, they're there. So it was awesome that they were there and they were getting these nuggets, right? And that we're sharing them with one another to help one another's business grow.
That's what I like. I mean, everybody, there's so much business out there. We said it before, we'll say it again.
Yep.
You're not stealing anyone's business.
Yep.
Everybody could help everybody. The old school could teach the new school. Obviously it worked. They've been doing it for 30 plus years.
Right.
It works.
Absolutely.
So you can modify it to today to your style.
Yep.
And just the things that you do that are 2022.
Yep.
That they could implement into their business that maybe will even propel their business even more.
Exactly.
So it goes both ways, and I think that's a huge benefit. But I think those items is what gets more agents to want to say join, Keller, especially, that's not even getting into the commission splits and the capping and this and that. That's strolling on what the brokerage just offers, What we tell everybody is look what they offer first and then worry about the commission split after.
Right.
Be happy with everything first and then negotiate on a deal that makes sense for you.
Yep.
Because if you're not happy with the other stuff, does the percentage really matter?
Does it really matter? Right. 100% of zero is still going to be zero.
It's still zero.
If you're not getting the value for your business, and you're not seeing the money, you're not seeing the growth, you're not having time with your family, you're not enjoying what you're doing, you're not closing deals. Also, what does that conversation look like? Maybe someone doesn't know what that conversation looks like. We have, next month I'm going to put some trainings on the calendar. It's going to be simply like role play. Script and role play. Come in the training room. Let's do some role play. Some of these new agents need to know what that conversation looks like. They're scared. They don't know what to say when 100%. They go out there. So it's definitely for the new agents and the older agents. It comes down to the value. Why should you hang your license here? What are we doing for you? Right. And what is that you need? Where's the gap in your business? Tell me what the gap in your business is so I can fix it, because that's who I am as a TL.
Yeah. So speaking of recruiting, last question. Yes. What is the number one thing that is the hardest part in recruiting?
The number one thing that's the hardest part in recruiting, it is the split. It is the split, because some people are very closed-minded and they, to our point, but it's 90-10 over here. Right. Then I have to have the conversation with them to find out, okay, but are you getting A, B, and C? Right. We're offering A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? So I do what we call a need analysis and find out what their needs are. What are your needs in your business? What are your gaps in your business? What is missing in your business? Because I can pretty much promise you Keller Williams is going to be able to fulfill that void. Right. So that is number one. That's the biggest thing.
Split's always the hardest question.
Absolutely.
That's everyone's first question probably. What are you offering?
What are your splits? Yeah. Right. What are your splits? And then, there are a couple of agents that I'm talking to now that, have a better split. But we're on 4 and 5 conversations now.
Right, so they're somewhat interested.
Exactly, because of the value that I'm showing them, that they're not getting.
Even if you're losing 10% or something of that nature, but you can make it up tenfold with other things that are there, maybe it still makes sense for you to do it. It still makes sense,
right. And they're listening. Right. And I'm also listening.
Yeah,
what's really missing in your business. Right. Because if you're on phone call number 2 or 3, how about, Josh, if you're on phone call number 1? Why are you even taking my call? Why did you agree? Because there's something in your mind. It's like, let me see what's going on over here. Exactly. Right. And you want to hear it out because something, even if you don't want to admit it, I've been with TE for 10 years and I'm fine, but you're still on the phone with me. Right. So something is missing.
There's a little curiosity somewhere.
For a reason. Right. Yep. So I just kind of take that window and jump through it and find out where that gap is. Yeah, because we're super proud to say that we really do. We are agents. We're a firm that's built by agents for agents, right?
Firsthand, coming from other brokerages, you could see the difference. Yeah. Again, I only have one of the brokerages that we were at, but you could see a big difference just between the two.
That's awesome. That makes me happy as a TL. Yeah. That's good.
So for anybody that's interested to learn more about Keller Williams, learn about some stuff that we do, commissions, this and that, all the questions that they would want answered. What's the best way for them to get a hold of you? Yes. If they want to come see the office, if they want to pick your brain, where do they find you? Social media, where do they call you? Give them it all.
I'm giving to you all. Okay, so Olimpia Fernandez, KW Team Leader on Instagram. Olimpia Fernandez Real Estate on Facebook. I will tell you guys, though, my name is spelled with an I, not a Y.
I used to do it with a Y.
So if you put in a Y, you're never going to find me. So as long as you just put in Olimpia Fernandez with an I, I'm going to come up. I'll give you my cell phone number. I might be crazy for this, going to go out all in the world, but it's okay. It's a super easy one to remember. It's 631-806-8065. That's my cell phone number. You can also go on KW Massapequa on Instagram, KW Massapequa on Facebook, KW Elite Massapequa on Facebook. You could just Google us. We also have a KWEliteMassapequa.com website that's getting up and rolling and getting a little bit refurbished. So I'm working on that a little bit right now as well. Some of the behind scenes that people are not seeing, right? So those are all the ways that you can contact me through social, Facebook or Instagram or my cell phone. Pop in the office. Literally just Google us and you can just get a hold of me.
All right. Well, if you guys have any questions about what Keller's all about, possibly looking to bring a team over, an individual, you want to get on a team, you are going to jump ship or just sign up normally, come pick her brain. It was one of the best decisions we made. This is not a Keller Williams pitch. But it honestly was one of the best decisions we made. So if you guys have any questions what the whole thing is about, definitely reach out to Olimpia. She'll take great care of you. And if you have a house that you're looking to buy or sell, I'll take care of you.
Exactly.
516-732-6398. Now, I want to say thanks to everybody listening. And until next time, this workshop is a wrap.